What's up, everybody? My name's Connor Flood, and this is update number 4, I think, for 0 to 9 Ackie monitors. As you can see, I've been having some pretty good success taming my Ackie monitors. This one especially is really good about handling and stuff. I didn't even pick him up. He or she has probably come out about 3 or 4 times today on her own regard. You ready to go back now? I'd say that was a pretty positive interaction. And we've done that about 4 times today, actually. She's been pretty active today and wanting to come out. I'd say so far that yellow Accie's probably the most acclimated to being handled. So while we're on the subject of yellow Ackies, something unfortunate happened. About a month ago, actually really shortly after I uploaded the Christmas video, one of the yellow Ackies passed away. So to tell you the story of what happened, we have to start at the very beginning, about 7 months ago when I first got them, and we were taking out all of the Ackies out of the shipment we got from Rare Earth, and we started at the bottom and moved up to the top. The yellow Ackies are at the top, and the 2 trios of red Ackies are in the middle and bottom cage. So everything when we were unboxing them was going well. Red Ackies, bottom cage, super active, super inquisitive. They came out and explored. Same thing in the middle cage. But then when we got to the top cage, the second Ackie we opened, we actually was concerned that it was dead or had a serious problem because it wasn't moving, it wasn't reactive like the other ones were. I wasn't super concerned about it because it had just been shipped and maybe it was in like the coldest spot in the box, so maybe it just needed to warm up. So we set it under kind of close to the light, not directly under it, but close to the light, and eventually it warmed up and moved around and then stopped for a while. And I messaged Brandon, the guy I got him from, about it being kind of lethargic when it came out of the box, and he said the same thing that I did, that maybe it was just cold and everything should be fine. It was, at that point, it was moving around like all the other ones, and didn't really have any worries. So at this time it was slightly smaller than the other 2 yellows. It was definitely noticeable, but it wasn't like way smaller. So it was kind of a runt from the start. So moving on to 1 or 2 months after I got them, they were all eating like normal, all the yellows, all the reds, including this one that I was talking about was also eating really well. So at this point 2 problems were starting to show up. One, it wasn't really growing. The others, by 1 or 2 months in, had noticeably grown, while this one hadn't, despite the fact that it was eating just like all the other ones. And 2, it was kind of acting weird. It wasn't anything like super alarming, like it would sleep in weird positions. I'll flash pictures of all this stuff that I've been talking about on the screen if I have a picture of it. And also it would just sometimes walk weird despite not having any issues with its legs. Just for no reason it would just kind of almost limp, but not limp at the same time. Like it would just do a weird walk every now and then, and it just seemed like there was always something kind of off with its brain, I guess. And progressing forward in time to about 2 months ago, it was still eating really well, but it still hadn't grown. So at this point, it'd been 5 months since I got it, and it really hadn't grown. It might have grown just a tiny bit, but not hardly at all. But it was fat. Like, it wasn't emaciated in any sort of way, but it was fat and small. So at this point, I was starting to get a little bit worried, because after 4 months of eating and seeing significant growth in the others, this one hadn't really grown hardly at all. But at the same time, it was fat and seemingly healthy, and had no other problems other than just occasionally acting weird. And fast forward another month, and this was around the time that it died, let's say like a week's span before it died. Really, I didn't notice anything with it. Like, there was no decline, and I didn't notice any issues with it. I mean, this is my room. I mean, I'm in here for hours a day, and I look at my Ackies all the time, and so if there was some sort of decline or issues, I would have seen it. And there wasn't. It was literally just like any other time. 2 days before it died, I tongue-fed all of the Ackies, and it ate, just like it normally did. And 2 days later, it I just looked in the cage and it was just sitting out on a piece of cork bark dead. So once I found it dead, I took the body out and looked at it, because the first thing I was worried about, especially being that it had been seemingly healthy, was that it was killed by another Ackie monitor. So I looked over the whole body, counted all the toes, looked everywhere, and there was no sign of any sort of attack or wounds from another Ackie monitor. So I think it's logical to assume that I would be able to see whatever wound was caused by another Ackie monitor attack if that had been what had caused the death. So that possibility was out of the equation. Possibility number 2 is that it starved, which also doesn't make any sense, because I tongue fed it 2 days before, and literally its whole life, and right before it died it was fat. I don't feel like that makes any sense either. Possibility number 3, it was dehydrated, which again doesn't really make any sense because I sprayed it the night before and its water bowl was full right before it died, and Ackies aren't really the types of animals that dehydrate super easily. I mean, they come from the desert, so dehydration wouldn't make sense either. And then on top of all that, all the other Ackies are doing really well and growing and eating still and not having any problems, so I don't think it has anything to do with the setup. So yeah, my best guess is that it had a mental issue or genetic deformity from the very start, and that's why it never grew and it tended to act weird. I don't see this as something that's my fault. I don't know what I could have done differently given the scenarios of the death. I know people might say, oh, it's because you cohab, whatever. Again, if it had something to do with cohabbing or stress, I would have seen some sort of decline, or it would have not eaten, or it would have shown obvious signs of injury. So yeah, it's just really an unfortunate thing. I mean, this is the first reptile I've ever lost in my history of keeping reptiles. I guess it's bound to happen when you keep a bunch of reptiles like I do, but it is what it is. So next part of the story is I messaged Brandon, told him what happened, and of course didn't ask for any sort of compensation, because I've had these for 6 months. It is certainly not his responsibility anymore to compensate me for an Ackie that I've had for 6 months, but he offered to send me another one if I paid for shipping, which was very generous of him. Huge kudos to him for that. I took him up on it. So I should be getting another Ackie. Obviously I'll have to get it another setup because it will be so much smaller than the other ones. Can't immediately go in with the other 2 in the cage. But yeah, I should be getting another replacement Ackie in spring. Again, huge thanks to Brandon. He definitely didn't need to do that. So yeah, I guess that concludes the unfortunate saga of the runt Ackie. So yeah, let me know in the comments. I've given you the facts. Let me know if there's any sort of other potential causes of death that maybe I didn't think of. Things that I could change to make this not happen. But like I said earlier, I don't think this is my fault. I don't think I did anything wrong that caused this. But yeah, let me know in the comments. So yeah, I would say other than the passing of that one Ackie, it's been a good month. Everyone else is doing great. Like you saw earlier, the handling and taming is going really well for some of them. Some of them are still not very receptive to it, but some of them are, and that's overall going pretty well in my opinion. I see you looking at me. There's the one really fat one in the middle cage that I thought was pregnant in last month's update is probably the least receptive of all of them. I just tried to touch him or her, and she's really seems to be pretty mad about it. She's giving me the stank eye and stuff. And also over the last month or two, I've started implementing chopped mouse pinks into their diet. They seem to really like it. Even if I chop up 3 mouse pinks, they're all gone within an hour of going in their cage. So they seem to like those. So yeah, I'd say that's about it for this month's update on the Ackies. I wouldn't say this month's update was a good update, but it happened nonetheless. I guess that's kind of the point of this series. I'm taking y'all on the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that's happened, I'm telling you about. I see that kind of as the value that I'm adding to the world with this series, is sharing my experiences. That was a bad experience, but things will get better. That's part of keeping reptiles. There's upsides and there's downsides. I definitely didn't get into this 0 to 9 Ackie monitors thing without thinking there would be some sort of things that would go wrong, and that's exactly what happened. But that's just part of it. And the best thing I can do is, if there's any lessons to be learned from this experience, learn those lessons and then move on. Oh yeah, happy 2020. This is my first video of 2020, I just realized. I guess I'll also update you on what I plan to post on this channel in 2020. Obviously, I'm going to continue the monthly updates, and then on top of that, I'd like to do some expo tours and collection tours soon. I'm getting my license hopefully this month, so once I get my license, I'll be unstoppable. Oh, I just scared you. I'm sorry. I will be a content creating machine. Probably, I think. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.